We are live. I hope everybody had a fabulous, fabulous weekend. I know I did. The wife and I had a great weekend. I feel I got such good sleep last night. Like, I don't sleep well. Everybody kind of knows it, like the ADHD thing. But my fucking goodness, I slept hard last night. Like, just out. It was amazing. I hope all of you did too. Hope all of you feeling great. I'm hydrating my ass off today. Already got one workout in today. I'm going to work out a second time today. That's how good I goddamn feel. Plus, I got this live. Then I'm going to talk about another live here right after this, where it's a pro GLP-1 doctor on TikTok versus Jillian Michaels. And then I've got I'm going to reapproach the airline issue with letting enormous multi-sized people fly, because in case you're wondering my position on it, if you're 400 pounds, you shouldn't be flying commercially. You're a danger to everybody else. You just shouldn't be. And we're going to talk about that tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern time, it is myself and Mark Loveliner. And we are going to have evening rants. It is getting to be election day, approaching up on election day. So please do join us for that. But for right now, we are going to talk about how compact car size Anna O'Brien is surprised that she is unhealthy. I have never in my life seen somebody that is trying to avoid reality as hard as these fat people. Like, it is just wild. I just posted something on Instagram. I got to repost it to a bunch of other places because the sound didn't work right. But like, I posted it to Instagram. Literally, Tess Holiday thinks she's some sort of fat hot MILF. Like, no. MILF stands for, just in case anybody doesn't understand, MILF stands for Mom I'd like to fuck. Because I know sometimes, like, the vernacular that we came up with in Generation X, sometimes you guys just use it and don't understand what it actually means. MILF is Mom I'd like to fuck. And the only people that could even possibly consider her that are people that have, like, the licenses to, operate heavy machinery, like heavy lifting machinery and shit like that. So, I mean, and even then, logistically, I don't know how it would work. And it's dangerous because the swinging and the weight and anyway, but we'll talk about that later. That's going to be obviously something I talk about a little later, not in this live, but probably tomorrow. And I don't mean any insult to heavy machinery operators. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. So, Steve Carter, that's rude. She knows she's fat. She doesn't need your insults. I have no problem with criticism of what people say or do, but personal attacks are uncalled for. I called for it, so it's called for. How about that, bitch? Stephen Carter, would you like to join me live? You can join me live, Stephen Carter. I welcome you to come on live, because I will say whatever the fuck I want to say. It's called for if I feel it's fucking called for. You don't get to dictate. You don't get to word police me. Nobody fucking does. At all, ever. You're a little hoe-ass bitch, Stephen Carter. You look like you're fucking... I mean, let's be real, bro. Let's be real. Okay, so here we go. And Stephen, by the way, please feel free. Don't say another fucking... I'm going to word police you. You aren't allowed to speak in my chat again unless you join me live with your camera on your face as you. You can shut the fuck up until then. I'll word police your ass, you little bitch. Here we go. Let's do this. This is Anna O'Brien. This is her video. My shocking health update. This is shocking health update. We are going to run this at 1.5 speed just because I find her to be just incredibly annoying. And Steve, I'm still waiting for you to see if you're going to join. I called for it. Therefore, it's called for. All you leftist pieces of pussy ass shit are going to have to miss me with this stuff. I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want to say. I don't give. If you don't like it, you can feel free not to watch, but that's not going to deter me. I am not one of these pussy ass bitches from this generation, from this new generations, where is worried about, like, oh my God, I might offend people. Fuck all the way off. Tell your friends I said fuck off also. You can even call your mama and tell her I told her to fuck off for raising such a fucking bitch that thinks they're going to fucking word police me. So I feel bad for her because, frankly, she raised a bitch. Let's go. So this is not the best look for her. Here we go. He got spooked. Very likely. Whoops. He got spooked. Very lightly. Very, very likely. It's wild. They're like, that's inappropriate. Then I'll say, I think it's appropriate as fuck. What are you going to do now? What now? What the fuck are you going to do now? Fucking weak ass pieces of shit. All of you. I'll tell you this. If I ever made a comment on somebody's video and they said, hey, you want to come on live and talk about it? I wouldn't rab it like a hoe. But anyway, here we go.
We are here in Tucson, Arizona to visit the literal legend that is Karen Hertz. And I told
literal legend is Karen Hertz. Never, ever, 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 ever heard of this legend.
Way for a couple different reasons. Taking care of your lymphedema surgically is only part of the process. There are a lot of conservative treatments that are also part of maintaining your health post-surgery, and even for some people are alternatives to surgery altogether. I am trying.
Oh, so there's alternatives to surgery. You were telling people that this was the only thing that was possible.
To be the most informed patient I can be and make the best decisions along my journey.
She wants to be the most informed patient she can be and make the best decisions along her journey.
So this was the logical next step with me, especially since I have like a little gap before my next 2 surgeries. So I'm excited today to get that ball rolling and just learn more about my body, because that is what this entire health journey has been about.
So you were like 550 fucking pounds and you need to still learn shit. Like, it's amazing to me how people pretend like they don't know anything about how their body works, anything about how nutrition works. And Quoop, she's had 2 rounds of basically liposuction for her lymphedema fat. Oh, I don't feel good. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh, everybody feels sympathy for me. Look at her just mogging. Like, that is a human-sized woman next to her. Look at how they don't even look like they're the same motherfucking species. I'm sorry. Like, people can say that's rude all they want, but they don't look like they're the same species. Like, if you've eaten yourself to deformity and continue to eat yourself to deformity and then refuse to acknowledge that as your eating is the fucking problem, I'm not going to give you any cushion. Like, you don't get any slack from me. If you are her size and you're like, man, I can't stay away from the food, can you help me? I do coaching for a living. Matter of fact, here's our links. You can check it out. We are running a special. I might even run a huge special for a 6-month block here later on today, if not tomorrow. I don't know. But because we need to make America healthy again. And this is not the right way. I'm seeing too much pushback from this. Here you go, guys. By the way, daily communication, weekly video conferences. You can check it out. But here we go.
I should tell you this as well, because this is something that haunts me that we don't have an answer for. Mm-hmm. I have moments of
something that we don't have an answer for.
Inflammation. Everybody has moments of inflammation, but mine are quite extreme. Okay. So
yes, it's because of what you eat, bitch. I have moments of extreme inflammation because you eat ultra processed foods on camera all the goddamn time. It's what you eat. Like, you are super fucking fat, like super fucking fat. And you eat in a highly inflammatory way. Like, you wonder why like, I'm sorry, but you have no idea. No idea at all why you keep getting inflammation. Because of you, bitch. You literally eat in a way that's going to make you inflamed, and you are, one more time, super fat. So since you're super fat, you're in a constant state of inflammation, a chronic low-grade state of inflammation. It's factual. This is not me pontificating on something. This is me telling you fucking facts. If you are morbidly obese, you are in a chronic low-grade state of inflammation. That is why fat people develop type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease. Cardiovascular disease is developed from inflammation throughout your system, free-floating cytokines, and cytokines are created this way. The more you are fat, as you are fat, when your body goes to attack a fat cell, because what happens is as fat cells form or they grow around other cells, and a cell in the center may die off, and it happens fairly often. It's a normal process, right? But when you're fat and then these fat cells die off, your body releases things called macrophages. Macrophages then go to eat the dead cell, and these macrophages release TNF-A, which is tumor necrosis factor alpha. IL-1, it's interleukin-1 and interleukin-6. Interleukin-1 and interleukin-6 are also why fat people have a harder time with things of an immunology nature. They have a harder time with colds, viruses, bacteria, because it's an inflammation that causes a lowering of the immune system. So you are in a constant state of inflammation because now these free-floating cytokines are going out throughout your body. That's why when you're morbidly obese, if you get a cold, it can be very, very bad for you because your lungs are already inflamed, and then you get a virus that causes your lungs to inflame even more, and it forms what's called a cytokine storm. So it's massive inflammation in the lungs that causes it to be very, very hard to breathe. And though that is a type of inflammation that actually shouldn't be treated by a respirator, you should be put on oxygen and also hopefully try to lower the inflammation in your actual bronchial cavities instead of being put on a forced air ventilator that is just going to do nothing but damage your lungs, as we did for tens of thousands, if not 100, 200,000 people at the beginning of the vid. We killed those people, by the way. Though, if you have a relative that died on a ventilator, the ventilator likely killed them. Just saying. So.
Let's say my period's coming,
Okay.
right? I will gain 30 to 40 pounds
Okay.
in 2 to 3 days.
Yeah. Part of this, I'm not saying she doesn't. I'm not saying she is lying about that, although she is a massive liar. I will say, Alan hit us with pathophysiological lectures. I know my shit. Like, I mean, I know some people like let the swear words and the tattoos and shit like that. I know my shit. I'll debate any doctor. I'll debate any doctor that any MD, especially, because frankly, I'm way more qualified than most MDs to talk about nutrition, health, stuff like that. Way more. If you're an MD and you only have your nutritional training through your medical school, I'm vastly more qualified than you to treat chronic illnesses like that. Vastly. But anyway.
I will feel so dry, as if my whole body is sucking the water out of my skin. My lips will start to chap. I literally had a makeup artist doing my makeup, and she's watched my lips go from completely like full normal to like flaking by the end of the day.
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And that's not from inflammation. That's not from water sucking away. It's insane. First of all, you're probably radically dehydrated because, as a newsflash, your kidneys and your stomach can only process so much fluid, so much hydration at any given time. And I'm sure she doesn't drink the likely 250 ounces to 300 ounces of fluid that I would consider being kind of like the minimum for her. Well, if she's 450, I would think the bare minimum would be about 2 gallons of water for her, 2 gallons of total non-alcoholic beverage is what I should say, a day. And I'm sure she doesn't get that shit in. I'm absolutely sure. Frankly, that still leaves her decently close to dehydrated because she sweats like, well, a pig. Because, but to be that dehydrated is a very serious problem all on itself. And it remains, when you're a 500-pound person, 500-pound person, being adequately hydrated is very, very, very hard because your kidneys do not grow to take on the processing of that much fluid. Like, your kidneys don't get better. As a matter of fact, kidney function drops down when you're fat as fuck and you've abused your body into being fat as fuck. Like, does this make sense? Like, again, one more time, I would debate any doctor on this. Any. And you guys can come on, make yourself look as stupid as fucking you want. Any doctor that disagrees with me on this shit, bring it today.
Wow.
She said she'd never seen anything like it.
Okay, tell me more about the itching.
So I'll get itching right around those veins, and they'll get really close to the surface. It was so bad, in fact, that I ended up seeing a vascular person because I was afraid they were going to burst, because I would feel like the pressure underneath was going to burst.
So what did the vascular person tell you?
He told me that.
Do everybody remember how, like, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, and then a year before, she was saying how amazing she feels and how healthy she is, and she's perfectly healthy and there's no problems? So was she lying then, or is she lying now? I mean, I think she was lying then because she has to be feeling some of these effects because one more time, she's refrigerator sized. But let's be real. Like, she's very clearly been lying about some shit.
And I should see he's worked with people with lymphedema before, so he's like, you need to start doing surgery because like we really should probably get that done before we do this. And you can't shave your legs anymore. Because he said the most likely way that those are going to burst is you shaving your legs.
Okay, oh, lovely.
And so, yeah, I'm a hair monster now. So sexy. My shoulder right here.
I don't think you need to worry about the so sexy thing. I'm just going to put that out there. You know, like the people that have the fetish, the people that have the fetish that would make them think you're attractive, physically, like your body is attractive. The people that have that kind of fetish aren't going to give a fuck if you're shaving your legs. I think the idea is as gross as possible, but you don't need to worry about so sexy. There's nothing sexy about you. And I mean, I'm not as if I would be looking anyway. Full, monogamous, happily married man. Been with my wife over 20 years. We're coming up on 20 years being together. Don't care. I mean, I don't care. Like, I don't care what people think about me when I say this. There is nothing attractive about this woman at all. She's a liar, first of all. Like, even if it was just like you couldn't see her or, feel her approaching you by the tremors, she's a liar, right? Like, I mean, even if you're blind and you ignore the actual moving of the ground as she walks towards you, she's a liar. It's not even a question. I personally have called her out on multiple lies with video proof. So that's unattractive to begin with. But yet alone, you eat like a hog, as demonstrated by, you. And that is unattractive to me also. People that just abuse themselves every single day, that's not attractive. Your actual lifestyle is unattractive to most people. The only people that are going to find your lifestyle attractive are people that are also harming themselves in that same way. And they're not really going to find you attractive. You're just, the option that they have available. I mean, don't get me wrong. If she was already happily married and, she, went through some shit and let herself get 400 or 500 pounds, and the husband or girlfriend or wife or, the boyfriend, whatever she would have, whatever she cares to have, because I don't give a fuck. They would be like, hey, maybe you should lose some weight, blah, blah, blah. That would be, different because the person already loves you. But to try to convince somebody to think you're sexy and appealing and shit like that, just on face value, they would need to be able to see you to do this. And if they see you, they see that, you've eaten yourself to literal human deformity. Like, you don't even look like you're built like a human being right now. So I'm sorry, but that's, you don't need to be worried about that. You should be worried about your health.
Where's it bad here? Your whole arm, you've got, let your arm hang. Yeah, it's just got a lot of congestion.
Yeah, her arm is massively inflamed. Who would have fucking guessed? Look at her. This is wild to me. I mean, and somebody just put in that this doctor's using a free app to fucking. This is just wild to me. What the fuck?
Interesting.
I'm starting to have pain in my shoulders. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, you're so. Let me do that. You look so.
You have pain in your shoulders because you're fucking huge. You're huge. That's why you have pain in your shoulders.
Oh, classically lipedema.
This is an app on your phone?
Yeah. Yep.
What?
Yeah. Yellow lines and spots those are dilated veins.
Okay.
But you can see where you put your shoe, you've got good flow. It's nice and yellow, but you can see how congested the leg is here.
Damn.
With the redness.
Yeah. This is looking good.
Thighs look good.
Yeah. Well, because they should look good.
And
no, they don't look good. They're still the size of what your entire body should be. Your entire body should literally be the weight of your thigh.
The maroon is congestion. Look at the vessels in your arms.
That's terrifying.
Yep. And then this is.
Yeah, because you do it to yourself. You do this to yourself. Stop playing victim. Oh, it's terrifying. Woe is me. You do this shit. You do this shit by how you eat every single day. Every single day. Yeah, and somebody just pointed out, and she giggles. Yeah, she thinks this is awesome to her. She's getting content out of this. She's going to get sympathy out of this because we live in a weak as fuck society that is going to coddle her instead of saying, you know what, you fat fuck, lose goddamn weight and stop bitching. It's so wild to me. I get into this argument all the time on the X, on the Twitter, but it's so wild to me how society does not accept alcoholism. We don't make compensation oh, we are an alcoholic. Come in 2 hours late and barely get any of your work done and fucking, smell bad and shit like that. We don't make those kind of dispensations, right? But if somebody wants to eat themselves to death, it's there's no problem and they're the victim. Shut the fuck up. We've got to stop this. We've got to at least put the blame where it goes. Yes, I will be the first to admit our food system is fucked up. I will also be the first one to admit that I have lost and kept off over 100 pounds for fucking years now. I am 3 years, 9 months, and 11 days since my last binge because of me eating whole foods and watching how I eat and intelligently supplementing with no morbidity and alchemy, and I hydrate properly and I get proper stress relief and proper sleep. I will be the first person to say that the food system's fucked up, but that is just an excuse. You can avoid it. You can literally still make yourself healthy. You just need to be realistic with yourself and not eat that shit. I'm sorry. Like it is still the person's fault. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. People are like, well, what if she lives in a food desert? That is like for very, very, very rural people. You realize that, right? Like she lives in a fucking city. She does not live in a fucking food desert. It's so wild, like to me, how people make excuses for this stuff. She is doing this to herself. We as a society should be like, you know what? No, you don't get to. Like right now, she's accessing her health care again. This woman has been to the doctor more times in the last year than I've likely gone in the last goddamn decade. Straight the fuck up. And that includes injuries and shit like that, because I used to lift very heavy weight, so I injured my back, or I'll injure my knee, or I've tons of fucking shit like that because young and dumb. But even with that, she's probably like way more times in the last year than I have in the last decade. Because there's some years where I just like, you know what, I'll just get my blood, I'll just do my own blood work because I don't trust doctors because they're not trustworthy when it comes to maintaining your actual physical health. But here she is seeking another opinion, pushing all of your insurance costs and all of your taxes up because she's accessing the healthcare system in a disproportionately burdensome fashion because she uses the food system to make it so she drives prices up for that because she eats in a disproportionately burdensome fashion for everybody else. Reality exists.
This is from up above. You can see how congested it is.
So I've been having pain right here to the point where it's like affecting mobility movements. So like when I go like up like this, I'm starting to lose this range of motion. And I worked out today, so it's a little bit better because it's warm, right?
Right.
But if it's like cold, sometimes like when I was flying made it really bad.
So I also find it funny that they're using a thermal scan on somebody that says I just worked out today, and that wasn't discussed ahead of time. Like this is quack shit. This is quackery, all of it. Doctors should not be viewed as people that should be treating chronic illness because they don't treat it, they maintain it. The goal of doctors for chronic illness is to medicate, surgery, and maintain it. They're not curing nobody. If they were curing people, we wouldn't have consistently huge rises in obesity, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, stroke, heart attacks, kidney disease, liver dysfunction, metabolic disorder. We're 93 point some percent metabolically unhealthy in America. We are the most medicated society in the fucking world, and we have 93.2% metabolically unhealthy people. The healthcare industry is not qualified to literally talk about avoidance of chronic illness. They are not qualified. They are not set up to do it. The American Diabetes Association themselves does not recommend any lifestyle changes. They just recommend pharmaceutical additions. Straight up.
And I was just like hurting, like physically it felt like I had like a torn rotator cuff or something. Yeah.
As if she knows what a fucking torn rotator cuff would feel like. Shut the fuck up. Jesus fucking Christ. Like it felt like a torn rotator cuff or something. Yeah. You know this how? I mean,
that doesn't feel good.
No, that's a massive.
Anna needs to stop Googling, like self-diagnosing by Googling. She really does. I would really say, and she needs to find a doctor that's not going to fucking bullshit with her. Remember, she's done this doctor shopping thing too. Like somebody be like, hey, lose weight. And she'll be like, I need a new doctor. And then the next one will be like, hey, lose weight. Hey, I need a new doctor. Hey, stop eating so fucking much. I need a new doctor. Like, I mean, I don't eat too much. We have video of you eating. Oh, like what the fuck? You know?
In fact, let's take an ultrasound. That it looks very vascular to me.
What does that mean?
Oh, I think there's a lot of leakage right there.
Gotcha.
There's some blood vessels and leakage.
Here's a vessel in your arm.
I think there's some leakage because my free phone app said it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That black spot. It should show a color if it's a vessel. It doesn't because it's a vein and there's slow flow. Okay. But do you see this around it?
Yeah. What is
a
that?
Leak.
So what is that? Lymphatic or blood? Or what? There's blood leaking in my arm?
Well, it's more likely plasma, so no red blood cells, but absolutely.
What does that mean?
Well, that happens in that's lipedema right there.
Okay.
But that's so when you drink, right?
Yeah.
And it goes into your tissues. There it is.
So it doesn't, that's why being hydrated is so freaking hard.
Right. Because it's going right out into your tissues. And you can see that the tissue is
Being hydrated is so hard because you've got 3 times the body you likely should have. Like, being hydrated is hard because you can only drink so much. Like, I already covered, I didn't even know she was going to say that, but I already covered that she's still probably classically dehydrated for her body size, just even if she would take in 2 gallons of fluid in a day. That's classical dehydration because 2 gallons of fluid is like what? That's 256 ounces. 252 ounces or something like that. 256. 256 ounces, and she weighs 450 fucking pounds.
what we call hyperechoic. It's got more whiteness around that vessel. And
hang on a second. They're laughing because she's happy about this. Anna is happy about this. She's having somebody on camera say that there is something physically wrong with her. She's avoiding the fact that she's the one that caused this shit. If she would have never gotten fat as fuck, this wouldn't be an issue. There are many women that have lipedema, don't end up getting fat as fuck, that don't have problems with lipedema fat. Many. She's doing this to herself, and she's continuing to do it to herself. The whole I gained 20 or 30 pounds or on my cycle thing, if that's the case, I highly doubt it. But if that's the case, I mean, stop eating the way you're eating. Like, there should be no inflammatory foods going in you. She should literally eat nothing but like chicken breast, broccoli. You know, I mean, go to red meats too. Like red meat is actually red meat with grass-fed, grass-finished beef is anti-inflammatory.
Here's the piece of fascia coming through. You can barely see it. It's being masked by the fluid that's leaking into the tissue. So this is her skin on top, her fat right here, and then her muscle down here. But that is a leaky vessel.
Look at how fucking much fat on top of she has.
And we could feel it on her arm. I knew there was leakiness there, but this captures it really nicely. This is where this is a ton of fibrotic tissue, and you can actually see it. Did you see it all sitting there?
Oh my God.
Here's the skin. Here's your.
Oh my God, look what I've done to myself, is what she should say.
It looks like teeth.
It does. You're hysterical. So you do not have lymphedema.
Thank God. That was the one thing I was like, I want to be able to get rid of the lymphedema, use conservative treatments,
you don't
not have to
it.
do lymphedema for the rest of my life.
You don't have it.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah, you
Woo,
don't have
good
it.
news.
This.
Give me a sec. Chair Bear, thank you very much. I just wanted to say that real quick. Thank you.
Is the lymph press. And they have extenders too, like for the sides.
Yeah.
You can see it there.
Yeah.
The rows. But if you just climb in it. Okay. And then they have a vest, or you can get a right arm sleeve and a left one. You can get connectors if you really want to do them both at the same time. But doing one at a time makes more sense because then you can eat, talk on the phone, do whatever you got to do.
Yeah. What?
You're all red and itchy.
Yeah, and you see I start to, because I am inflaming right now really bad.
You are.
You know how I can tell? Did you see how my skin?
Because you have a mirror. You can tell because you have a mirror. I'm inflamed right now really bad. I could have literally told you this by looking at you because you're morbidly obese. You're going to be inflamed. It is part of it. You are morbidly obese. You are going to be inflamed. You exacerbate it by how you eat. This is silliness. This is all ridiculousness. Does she just keep going with this doctor? Or oh my God, they got her in a pod of some kind?
Gets pulled.
Look. Who allows themselves to be videoed like that?
And so your job is to keep that as clear as possible.
What do you mean? Like, don't do this?
You don't want it to close down because if
Yay! Look at you guys. We'll see everyone later. That was.
She's so happy for finding out she's physically fucked up. I'm done with her. She's so happy for finding out she's physically fucked up. I can't even stand it. Literally, she should be extremely upset with herself. But instead, she's very, very, very happy because she was just given something on camera that she will use for victimhood for years. Oh, it's not my fault. It's this and that. It is how you are eating. It is truly amazing to me the levels this woman will go to deny like her actual physical stature. However, I am going to go. We're going to head on to the next video. So I will be closing off of this one. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Please join me on the next one where I talk about this Jillian Michaels, Jillian Michaels versus this this pro GLP-1 doctor. So everybody, join me there. Thank you very much. If you wanted to grab coaching, it is daily communication, weekly video conferences. And the coaching right now, by the way, is close to 50% off for 4 months for a 4-month package. For you can just get coached by just Crystal, by the way, if I'm not your cup of tea, the both of us, or you can just join the app. We're running. You missed. She's going to do genetic testing for more victimhood. Well, that way I'll be surprised. But thank you very much. But I'm gonna hop on to the next video. I can only take so much of her at a time. I appreciate you though. Thank you very much. A-OK. Here we go.
It's Halloween week, and you're not going out to get candy. You're going out to get some gains. And we got gains for you at tigerfitness.com. Simply go to tigerfitness.com now and use coupon code TRICK, 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 to save 10% off site-wide, including MTS Nutrition, Creapure Creatine, the best creatine you can buy, the one that studies are on, the one that's from Germany, not that cheap Chinese stuff. Anyway, go to tigerfitness.com, use coupon code TRICK, and save now.